Welcome to our Community Development Live Forum. It is good to be back on a Thursday evening. We took a hiatus during and after the hurricane, and we are happy to be back for this conversation on Hurricane Melissa recovery in the parish of Clarendon. And we are going to be having this conversation with our Mayor of Maypen, none other than Councillor Joel Williams. All right. Unfortunately, our CEO will not be able to join us this evening, but I can tell you without reservation that our mayor is on the ground and he is able to respond to the questions that you might have and that I will be posing to him. Welcome, Mayor.
Thank you very much for having me, and good evening to your watchers, listeners, and to the wider public. And all Clarendonian.
At home and abroad.
At home and abroad, in the diaspora.
Right. So it's just to let you know that the recording remains on YouTube if you're new to this space. So you can feel free to share the link. For those who are not able to join us live, they can catch up on the discussion afterwards. Because a lot has happened over the past month. I can't believe it's been a month already. Seems like so many things have been happening, and for a number of us, especially those from central Clarendon and other areas, we have no idea what's happening to our fellow citizens in Kellits and those surrounding communities, and that's why we are having this forum this evening, so we can have a better understanding as to the impact on Clarendon. But we have the mayor himself here, so let's hear from him. Mayor, what is the overall impact of Hurricane Melissa on the parish of Clarendon? Which communities have been most severely affected? And what are the key concerns residents need to be aware of right now?
The impact is great. And unfortunately, there are many Clarendonians who are journeying all the way down to the west, not knowing fully well that their own backyard is devastated. And what do I mean by that? There are 13 to 14 communities in the parish of Clarendon that have been badly hit. In the northern belt of Frankfield, Victoria, Bloomwell, Sunbury, Croftsill, Union Town, all of those areas have been badly hit by this hurricane Melissa. A lot of people believe that because nothing happened on the plane, i.e. Mitchelltown, Rocky Point and those areas, that we went unscathed and nothing, there was no impact. I just want the listeners to understand that that is not so. Our housing stock in the hills of Clarendon was badly damaged. Our farming belt, and again, a lot of persons don't understand that without the northern belt, the Maypen market would be empty. Without the northern belt, Coronation market would have been impacted severely. And so the cost of food supply would be rising. In relation to livestock, heavy beating in those areas, in the Bagwell area, in the Kellits area, Brandon Hill, Longbow, all those areas have been badly hit as it relates to animals that have, farmers who have lost their animals. And so, yes, the impact has been great. Small shopkeepers, because you would be aware that without electricity, these small shopkeepers would have to close shop. You're not able to have any of your your livestock that have been butchered, chicken, goat meat, beef. You're not able to have any of those on any refrigerators in any of these areas because there's no electricity. So the impact has been great.
Right. And as you mentioned that, Mayor, it means that there seems to be somewhat of health concern, maybe? What's the conversation? I know you would have had several council meetings, the updates coming out of the health department. Should we be concerned as it relates to health?
I don't think so at this point in time. I believe we're in good stead up to date. I have not had any report of any of what is diseases that we are facing challenges with in the West, leptospirosis, any of those things. No, I have not gotten any report from the Ministry of Health. Not saying that the health system, it appears to me, from where I'm sitting, that we would have weathered that storm.
Well, I pray that it remains that way.
And I pray that it remains so, yes.
Right, because in fact, Clarendon is not on that list of parishes but it's in our neighboring parish or parishes.
Right.
So we have
Right.
to be mindful of that and
Mindful, yeah.
exercise caution.
Right.
All right, let's move into relief coordination, because a lot of coordinating has been taking place, as always. Still a lot of room for improvement, but tell us what's been happening in terms of the main relief efforts that's underway, particularly the collaboration with the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, our local representation of ADPEM, RADA, JPS, and the SDC. And what should residents expect in the coming weeks?
Well, I have been in collaboration with the Ministry of Labor, with the JDF, with the SDC. There's a two-prong approach that is now, or three-prong approach that is now in operation, because the JDF continues to roll out, going into various communities that have been badly hit. For example, the Smithville area was locked off for about 1 week before any food could get in there because of road slippages, block roads. Those areas were closed after were open after the first week, and so we were able to get food supply in there by the JDF. So the JDF has been working those areas, providing food supply. Also, I want to give thanks to our Custos, who has done a tremendous job in and around the hills and of the parish, the areas that have been badly hit. She moves in and brought in food supply to help those persons in those areas. So from that perspective, they are doing those relief supply, and they still continue to do so. The latest update I got today is that the soldiers are still delivering packages in those areas that are impacted badly. Um, what we do need now, though, is for RADA to come in and to step up their end of the bargain to start to help the farmers. Mind you, the farmers have already started their own rehabilitation of their farms. Up to yesterday, I was in Coffee Peace area. I did a tour in that Reaches area yesterday, and you would be amazed to see what the farmers have done thus far, not waiting on government or any individual to come and hold their hand and for them to start to rebuild their lives. And they are doing a tremendous job in putting back their farms together. One other thing I did not know is that that a lot of uh, exporters do go into those areas on a weekly basis to purchase food supply for export. And I had to say to myself, a Jamaica economy, especially the food basket economy, is not only providing for our local farmers, our local consumers, but also for overseas consumers. And it goes as far as our local farmers in the hills do provide supplies for as far as Kingston and for the tourists and hotel industry. So it is that important that we get the agriculture sector up and running. I would have had some discussion with our local RADA representative, and there are a number of these farmers who either they don't know that they, how to get registered with RADA, or it's just lack of just to get down to the town of Mapen at RADA office to get themselves registered. So what I have done, I have worked out with the councillors in the hills, and we are now going to take that aspect of the registration to them in their community, actually on their farm. So we have a number of areas that we are looking at, and the RADA representative from the main office will be going into those areas and will be registering those farmers, whether you're livestock farmers, or your ground provision farmers, right across the spectrum, to make sure that they are in the loop and they are able to get the assistance that is necessary, because it is very important that RADA is able to move quickly to get our productive sector back up and running.
Well, it's quite a bit there, and because we have extension officers that's assigned to these different locations, and the kind of machinery that we have in Clarendon in terms of the interagency network,
Right.
they probably need to be more actively engaged in those outreach efforts so that they can take care of that in the spaces, because I know that they do have some on the farm in the community engagement. So the collaboration there. And as you mentioned earlier about the farmers, and that's how the community really is supposed to work, where the farmers, they get to work and start doing what they can right after. So whatever support comes is just to get them further ahead. Because
Right.
in our parish development committee engagement that we had, and I think it was last week or earlier this week, it's the same report that was coming in from the Parish Development Committee team, where they went to another area in
Right.
Top Clarendon, and that's what they were seeing there. The farmers out there actively engaged in securing what they could, which is
Right.
fantastic. It demonstrates the true resilience of our people.
Absolutely.
And, right. And I see a number of initiatives that RADA have put out. They actually have an option for the farmers outlining what information they are to submit. So one of the things that the community groups could do is to assist some of the farmers who are not tech savvy to get the information in so that they can work with that info.
One of the things that I am pushing is to have the municipality become the driver between the farmers and RADA. And what do I mean by that? A number of councillors are also farmers themselves.
That's what I realized. All of our,
And
most
what
of the
is happening,
councillors in
yes,
our,
and what is happening is that over the years, I don't believe the farmers in the northern belt, and as I said, they are the ones who are producing for our consumers on the plain, that they have been given the kind of tools, the kind of attention that is necessary to help them to boost their production level. And so I observed that there is a gap, and I reach out to RADA. I sat with those councillors that are interested in making sure that the hills continue to be productive and more productive, for our local market and for the export market. And so that kind of synergy, that kind of collaboration is now being developed. And I know that in the next, possibly by the end of this, well, by the middle of next year, you will see a better synergy. The farmers will be able to relate better to RADA. RADA will be able to relate better to them, because there is a closer collaboration in terms of how we go forward.
makes sense. And in terms of the a widespread of crops, so you don't have everybody producing the same thing, because we
Right,
need to make sure that we have sustainable farming
right.
practices taking place. Right. In terms of JPS,
If
what's
I
going
may
on?
say, if I may
Yes.
say, you would realize that if you goes into the Mapen market, no, vegetable is short, because I would say 90% of our vegetable comes out of the Bagul area, which was badly flooded. Huh?
Yes.
So we are going to be short of lettuce, cabbage, tomatoes, and those, so for a while, until they are back up on their feet.
So those backyard gardening needs to hit the ground
Yeah,
running.
yeah.
Right. JPS, what's the situation in
I
the
had a
north?
long meeting. I had a long meeting last week. Wednesday it was with Corinne Jackson from JPS, and Titus and Norman Titus. Spoke with him up to this morning, and they gave us a full update at the council representative. We are quite happy. Um, Not over happy, but where they reach up to this point in time, we are not, we can't say we are dissatisfied. We think they're working very hard. We're pushing very hard. I had a discussion with him this morning, because those small shops in the hills, because we have to get some food into those shops so that we can stop doing the packaging, and
Um,
that, at some point we will have to
get the
bring that,
economy going in the
bring that
state.
to an end, and so enable the community
Mhm.
to start to rebuild back their economic base, so the
Yes.
small shops back up and running and so forth. But that cannot be done unless we have electricity. So they are moving very hard, fast, to make sure that those areas that have not yet been energized, to be energized as quickly and as soon as possible. So I'm working very closely with them in those areas.
Are there areas where there's challenges in terms of land slippage, in terms of
Yes,
losing any of the poles?
yes, and we still do. While I was in Bagul area yesterday, traveling and touring with the councillor. No, sorry, not Bagul. Coffee Peas. We came
Okay.
up on an area where they were still clearing roads, and they still have other block roads in those areas, across that belt. So I know that I'm going to be reaching out to the minister, Minister Morgan, tonight into tomorrow, to see how much or best we can probably put some more equipment in those areas to have the rest of the roads that are not yet cleared in those areas to be, so vehicular traffic can start to move freely across the various communities.
Sounds like we have some increased social concerns in the northern belt.
Oh, indeed, indeed.
Right. What's the report coming out of our social security arm of the Ministry of Labor, Social Security?
Well, they have been on the ground since I would say the second to the third day of the hurricane. I know they have done so far, they would have cleared somewhere in the region, they would have done over 2,000 homes as it relates to persons who have lost roof and and lost their roof. So they would have visited them, they would have done the assessment, and compiling the data, to send to the ministry, so that assistant in terms of these people rehabilitation, rebuilding their homes. But a lot of them, as you used the word earlier on, are very resilient. On my tour, I would have found a number of them who start to rebuild their homes. I must say thanks to those who are overseas, who are helping to repair basic schools that have been badly damaged, to put back our youngsters in classes. Up to yesterday, one area that I visited, the roof of the basic school went, and I must give credit to the principal who were able to get two tarpaulin and have it on the roof. What was the roof? And have 24 students back in class. I mean, I gave my heart out to her yesterday for that kind of initiative and that kind of kind-hearted response to the little ones.
Indeed. Yes. It's a lot, and we're a long way from being where we want to be. It's just a month in and still a lot of work to be done.
Still a
But
lot of work to be done. But
yeah,
I must give credit to them for what they have picked up the pieces and they
yeah,
started to run, not
indeed.
waiting. And
Right.
that what is what is amazing.
Oh Lord, Jamaica,
That's
you
what
can't
is
take that.
amazing.
It's not
Yeah.
we shall rise again, but we are rising.
I give you this example. I went again into an area where a young lady lives in Massachusetts. Um, she said to me, when I am stressed in America, I come to my yard up in Coffee Peace to de-stress. Part
Oh
of the road
yes,
has been broken away, and she pulled the community together, and she started to rebuild that section of the wall that collapsed, that um could in a short period of time
yes.
not giving anyone access to that community.
If left
And she
unattended.
started a GoFund.
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah.
And she was there yesterday. I took the technical officers there. I got wind of the situation. I took the technical officers there just to make sure that what they're constructing, it's done right.
Yes.
And we at the municipality will be stepping in to give some assistance as it relates to what they're doing there. Awesome. Absolutely awesome. We got there yesterday and there was somewhere in the region of about 20 odd persons, community members who were there. They're cooking and they were working, constructing back the wall.
And that's the community spirit I
Awesome.
remember growing up.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right? And that's the level of patriotism that we love to see. And I always knew it was possible for us to get back there, and happy that we're seeing more of this happening. All right,
And
let's
I
take,
think, go
go
ahead.
ahead here before we go on to infrastructure.
I think what Melissa has done, it has brought back a kind of community camaraderie that we
Yes,
were losing across the political borders.
indeed.
I can speak for that in Clarendon, right? And I believe if we continue on this track, we are going to build well, we're going to build back better and stronger.
And that's what we want to see.
That's what we
Oh,
want.
right. And as you started on the road repair, let's continue along the infrastructure. What's the status of the major roadways leading up, especially in the northern belt, bridges and drains across the parish in general? And are there areas still inaccessible? If yes, what's the restoration looking like for those specific areas?
I think the restoration is moving at a pretty good pace. As I said, those areas that I'm told that a few areas that I'm told that might not yet been cleared, I will be having discussion with the minister on those and to see how quickly you'll be able to get some equipment in there to have them clear. Because the more area you have where persons can traverse, you will start to build back your economic base in those communities. I believe that we have a lot of breakaways up in the hills, and some of those are things that we will have to look at. What I did yesterday on the tour is to say to my chief engineering officer, we're going to look at everything. We're going to take what is not under the responsibility of the municipal corporation. We will give those report and pictures to the NWA so that we are doing a join up. I am touring, but are
Yes.
doing a join up approach So
That's
we'll
right.
pass those information to the National Works Agency so they can act on those. And those that fall under our responsibility, we can move forward with those.
And that's the kind of approach we'd love to see with the other the agencies.
Yeah,
So once an agency goes in, we should know by now the information that's required for the other agencies. So get the information as the
absolutely.
first agency going in and ensure that it's passed on so that it can be acted on instead of wasting resources for 3, 4 different agencies going in the space and dragging out the process.
Absolutely.
So
So,
kudos
and
to
I
the
would have
team.
done the same thing with JPS yesterday. So we would have
Right.
pinned and I would have sent off all those information this morning to Mr. Titus at JPS. Say, hey, look, these are some areas that you need to, and he would say to me, why this area is not yet, you know, so we can
Yeah.
relate back. And what is important is communication. Because if we are communicating with the people and they're understanding that help are coming,
Yeah.
they will be a bit patient. But if they're not hearing anything, they're not seeing anything happening, then that's when you're going to have the challenges of persons getting agitated and impatient because they see nothing taking place.
Right. And we have to commend Miss Jackson in
Oh,
Clarendon because we have not been short on communication in
she's an
Clarendon.
absolutely queen.
Amazing in terms of
Amazing.
so the onus would be on the
Yeah,
leaders in the space to
yeah,
filter the information down to the
yes,
community. But
yes.
kudos, Miss Jackson. And she's here, Karine. She's in here saying amen.
Oh, she's there. Yes. The team is
Right.
doing well.
Lady
The team is
Dillon,
doing well.
thank you for joining us. Your communication is back, I see. Happy to see that, Miss Dillon.
Yes.
I'm almost sure Miss Dillon is from Boghole. So we're happy to know that you're able to join us.
Right.
Right. And feel free to share any updates from your specific communities, what's happening in your space. If there's something that Mayor is not mentioning that you think you should be aware of, you can feel free to share it and we'll take it from there. On the matter of infrastructure, Mayor, to talk to us about the markets. We talk about the produce, but if we don't have any market too, when the produce come back on
True.
street.
Well, we would have gone, we'd have visited Kellits, we have looked at it, and we know that we know what we have to do there. I was with the minister last week, Friday. He knows that he would have received the report on the Kellits market, and so we are moving afoot. Quickly, I'm going back into that area. I think Monday afternoon for a town hall meeting with the residents, and I'm hoping that in short order my CEO, myself, the council, we're doing everything possible to make sure that the market is repaired as quickly as possible so we can get back the vendors into a very comfortable space. Um, we have challenges in also in the Spalding area, and we are also going into that area on Monday. I'll be meeting with the member of parliament and a team of persons, and we will see how best we can help to resolve some of the issues that are on the ground to make sure that the space is, as I said, we are trying our best now to make sure that economic activity is fully
Correct.
up and running. And I tell you, I go to my bed and I have to say, thank you, Lord, because of that hurricane come across the parish, the trajectory
Oh,
that it was coming on. Had it continue on that part, the damage would have been devastating. I don't think I would be able to be sitting here now with electricity and line with you talking because
that's
it
true.
would have been devastating. So we have to give God thanks.
In everything, we give
Yeah,
thanks.
yeah.
Yes. Cecilia, thank you for tuning in. All right. And I love to share flowers in this space. Winston Sinclair, PBC, is that it? The man of action, number one, his worship. And Karine Jackson is endorsing that. Always putting the welfare of the people first. All right, Mayor, take a bow, take a bow. All right. We saw some pictures and videos of the Alley Bridge during the passage of the hurricane. What's the situation down there? Were any damages to the bridge?
Yes, the bridge was damaged, and both that leg, that corridor, and the corridor coming out of Yorktown. Sorry, yes, coming out of Yorktown. That section of the road is almost cut in two.
Wow.
I had discussion with CEO E.G. Hunter. I have a discussion with the councillor. I had discussion um with Roger Simit out of the National Works Agency. And now I'm speaking in respect to the Yorktown corridor. He would have
Right.
sent me a drawing as it relates to the work that is to be done along the hospital, along that corridor, the Yorktown corridor. A lot of people don't know how important that corridor is, because the power station that feeds Mapen with electricity
Oh,
is
Parnassus.
from Panassos, right?
Okay.
So if that road is cut in two and those light pole fall, our
Mhm.
entire town, hospital, infirmary, all of those areas will be out of electricity. So I've been on their backs, pushing and making all the calls and sending the letters for that area to be rehabilitated as quickly as possible. I am gonna have to say thanks to God, because had we had the kind of what the others have in this in the
So,
south, right? If we had that impact here, then that area would have been totally cut off. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And give God thanks, we're still able to have a one lane traffic going through there, but I am asking for that to be um, action to take place there as quickly as possible. The Alley Bridge also, I understand from report from Minister Morgan that that area is on the agenda for the repair work to be done, to make sure that it is that corridor is safe for the vehicular traffic and for persons who utilize that area.
fantastic. So is there relatively free flow of vehicular traffic from the north coming down? Because in terms of students and workers coming down for work and school.
Yes, but
There.
I am not comfortable until the repair is done.
Mm, okay.
Not comfortable until the repair is done. Um, Anything could happen. We could have our climate change is of such that we can't predict what will happen tomorrow. We could just have torrential rain tomorrow that worsen the situation that exists there, and then cut off the entire area. Um, we at the EOC, at the council, would have anticipate challenges during the storm. So what we had to do in a number of areas would have been to um, pre-propose, pre-sending in information, food supply in those
Supply.
areas, right? Pre-possession and food supply in those areas. That in case we had cut off, the team in that area, those persons who were shelter managers and the counselor could have something to carry them through until we are able to get through to them. So
Okay.
that was done for that area. It was done for some other areas in the hills, and thank God we did those before the weather had started to descend on us. So we were preparing as best as we could. I don't know how best you can prepare for a category 5, but thank God we were able
Write
to
it out, right?
ride it out. Yeah.
Indeed. And for our viewers who are not remembering what EOC is, it's Emergency Operations Center.
Thank you.
All
Yes.
right, I'm learning. All
Yeah.
right, and I am dropping the YouTube link to a discussion that we had about 2 years or so ago on the the disaster preparedness committee in the parish and how it's structured, how it operates, and what exactly goes on leading up to or throughout the hurricane season. So you can take a look at that when you have some time. It's there on YouTube, the links on Facebook as well. Thanks to those who are joining us over on Facebook. And I just realized that Instagram was not live. All right. For those who are joining us there, thank you for being here
And
with us.
I couldn't leave this program this evening without say thank you to the 52 shelter managers. We had 94 shelters. 52 of them were open during the storm. And I must thank those individuals immensely for the job that they have done. Because while they were having challenges at their own home, because some of them would have lost their roof, they were out trying to help secure some of those who were less fortunate than themselves. We can't pay those people. They are real. They are the real eras during Melissa. And I'm hoping that at some point in time, the municipal corporation will find some ways
Recognize their
of
efforts.
recognizing them for the awesome job that they have been doing every year when it comes to the hurricane season.
Right. And I believe in giving flowers where flowers is due,
Right.
because it's just saying thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for stepping up and leaving the comforts of your home to make life a little easier for others. All right. I know you mentioned earlier where there are no immediate health concerns, but in terms of vector control, because I know that there are water still settling in some areas. What's the situation like?
The update we have and I had on that one is that there will be some vector control personnel to hit the field. I'm not sure if they have started as yet, but this report I got last week that they would be out there. I will get some update on that tomorrow to see if they're actually in the field already. Because I know I've been getting the calls about mosquito invading a lot of communities following the torrential rain that we have had over the last many months. Yes, so those are some of the areas that we will have to contend with and to make sure that in another 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks from now, we start as some debushing in the various communities as far and as best as we can to make sure that the challenges that the residents are now facing will be subside.
Right. And vector control, one of the most common way to recognize that for those who are not familiar with the term fogging.
Right.
So, right. So the team will
And,
become
right.
more in a
And garbage cleaning. I happen to know that I've been on top of that too. I
yeah.
had discussion with solid waste. I know that they were in the community of Langsdale Park on Monday, Tuesday, I think it was. And they work in that area for the entire 2 days, I think. And they are moving on to some other communities because that is also critical that the garbage is removed as quickly as possible.
Right. To minimize the breeding site for rodents, so we don't find
Right,
ourselves in
right,
a situation like other parishes.
right, right.
Right. Are there any excess debris or so in different communities that the garbage collection will be impeded by?
I would say yes, not necessarily from the hurricane because much of some of those were removed. But yes, in some areas, we probably not exactly in and around Mapen, but we do have some, old tires and old refrigerators and in some communities. And I know that in a pronouncement I heard made by the Prime Minister a day ago or two, allocation has been made to members of Parliament for some cleanup to be done. I know that I think the minister also announce a day of cleanup where
Yes.
all the communities across the country will be on that day removing all the bulky waste and those stuff that can be of danger to us in the various communities. Yeah, so yes, that is coming. So I'm
Yes.
I'm hoping for us to see before Christmas, a lot of debushing. The area look fresh, the place look good, and of course, um,
Yes.
we get a sense, despite the challenges, we get a sense that we'll be going in the new year with a bit of much more
A little
um,
joy.
joy. Yes,
Joy, right?
yeah,
Because it's beginning to feel like Christmas with the
yeah,
breeze and all of that. So we want to make
indeed.
sure that the
Yes, indeed.
environment feels and looks like Christmas,
Right.
right?
And
In the
and from
midst of
that and
everything else.
right. And from that point of view, at the municipal corporation, we're doing everything to make sure the space in various towns are of such that citizens can feel free to move about without any incumbency.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Right. And for my baby, the business community.
Yes.
Uh, so I know that some businesses, as you mentioned earlier, especially our corner shops and our micro businesses, may still be experiencing connectivity challenges and disruptions. What message or guidance would you like to share with the business
I'd
community
just like
to
to say to the
navigate?
business community, um, do not be despair. Hope is coming. Hope is alive. And where we are once we can get those in a community reconnected back to electricity and water, um, I believe that they would be happy. They will be happy. Because for their that is the bedrock of their economic base,
Yes,
electricity and water. So once those two utilities are back in their space, they can carry on their lives. Um, and we're doing everything from where I am sitting and where the municipality is concerned to work with those entities of government to make sure that and private sector to make sure that those amenities are back up and running.
right. Any reports from our poultry farmers, especially I know that there was a lot of water down in the plains and the hills. We know we have a lot of poultry farmers across the space. Any reports coming out?
Well, let me. You have the big one and you have the small ones, and the small
Which
ones are those are the ones, the small chicken
micro ones we're
farmers. The
talking about?
lady who has done over 50 chicken. I tell you
Yes.
something, Madam Moderator. A lady called me from I think it's somewhere up in Thompson Town, and she had 100 pounds without any electricity, and I had to take it off her.
Wow.
I had to take it off her because I couldn't allow her. She
No.
raised 50 chickens, and I couldn't allow her to have lost
Must.
because
Yes.
she would not be able to rebuild. One other thing I often ask though, and that's why I'm trying to get RADA into these spaces, because they will tell you that if you lost your chickens and you
Mhm.
can't show that you really had chickens, then it is a little bit challenging for them to help because they feel that
Yes.
they can get tricked. So I often
Right.
said to persons, hey, if you have a chicken coop and you lose chicken, just use your phone and just take the pictures so you
That's
have
right.
something to show.
Evidence.
So all of these are things that we are trying to, when we get out there with RADA for the registration, we're trying to get these because it's not just the yam farmers and the goat farmers and the pig farmers. We want to collaborate with the little chicken farmers because a lot of these small chicken farmers, that's what they use to send their kids
Send the
to
children to school.
university and send
Right.
back to school.
That's it.
A lady called me from Penguin Key yesterday. She lost 150. I had to
Wow.
send out to Ministry of Labor. And I had to call Ministry of Labor and say, yes, I know of this lady, you know. So these are some of the small challenges that we face, and we're trying to help them to work through it so that they don't get frustrated and frustrated and despondent.
Indeed. And right on the mark. So Sinclair is saying, always speak with compassion to ease the situation. Thumbs up is worship. Oh, Lord. You have your penny section in here, Mayor. All right, let's talk about, we talked about communication earlier. Where
Yeah.
should residents go for verified updates on recovery operations in Clarendon, cleanup schedules, and municipal services? And how can they share concerns with the municipal
They
corporation?
can they can contact us here at the municipal corporation. Once they comes in at the front desk, they can get in touch with our disaster preparedness coordinator, Miss Eninam. They can get in touch with Miss Janet at the Poor Relief Department or at the Ministry of Labor. Any one of those entities. We have some beautiful person. I had Mr. Redwood. I have Miss Samuel Brown at the Ministry of Labor, and of course Miss Baker. You can reach out to any one of those individuals. And at RADA, you have Miss Campbell at RADA and Mr. Reed
To read.
will be able to assist or to give direction in which the direction you need to go into.
Fantastic. And Ms. Baker is our current parish manager for the Ministry of
Manager,
Labor and Social
right,
Security,
right.
and she is heading up the relief committee from the Social Security side in the parish. She's responsible for that arm there, and she was on the ground. I don't know if there was a day that she was not on the ground in Clarendon, moving from
And,
shelter
and,
to
and
shelter.
you know, moderator, I cannot again not saying thanks to the soldiers and the police for the awesome job that they have been doing with us on the ground, in terms of helping with those relief supply out there in the field. Want to say thanks to them on behalf of the people.
Fantastic. And we can't close the conversation without sharing because there are ongoing initiatives in this space. I know that the Custos, along with Justices of the Peace, have been volunteering to
Right. Yeah.
collect items and get resources together so that they can move into different spaces and get things done. So tell us share some
Well,
more about what's
yes,
happening
the
on that
success
end.
is period in that, but I would have set up a body myself, and I'm to get an update from them on Monday. I know that I have a lot of persons who have connected from overseas. I have items will be coming in for the Maple hospitals and other areas of um, areas that were impacted by the hurricane. So I would have set up a relief committee headed by Mr. Carlton Knight and representative from the CDC, Ms. Douglas, representative from the municipal corporation. Yes, so I'm to get a full update as to where they are, what it is that they have been able um, to garner, to pull in thus far. I myself was overseas for a funeral last week or the week before, and I would have contacted a number of persons, and they're pretty ready to give some help. And as you said at the beginning of the program, a lot of persons did not know that Clarendon was badly hit.
That's the reality, and which is
Yeah.
why we're happy to facilitate this kind of sharing so persons understand what's happening in your backyard so you can be a part of, as I always say, the change that you want to see. Because I know that but with that being said, Mayor, for those who are wondering, all right, so who do I call? Where do I go? And what kind of support can I give? Share with us.
Well, you can contact me. They can contact the CDC. They can contact our Costas, who is also leading the charge with us. And those are the entities that they can contact. The Justice of the Peace group, or if you know of a Justice of the Peace in your area, you can contact those individuals, and they will connect you to us. Because we're all one big team working together for the re vitalization of our community and to reignite our economic space.
Right. All right. And that is the PDC, Parish Development Committee, that
Committee,
Mayor
right,
is referring to. So
right.
in the blog
SDC
recap,
also, and
yes,
SDC, yeah.
and SD, right, the Social Development Commission. So in the blog recap, we'll be sure to share the contact details for all those entities so that you can get the direct numbers and locations that you can go to do your drop-offs for those who are dropping off items, and reach out to see how best you can support from wherever you are. And of course, you have the official Instagram pages that you can get updates from. The Municipal Corporation has the details there on the initiative that they're undertaking. And there's a page for the Custos of Clarendon that you can get updates from as well. So, Mayor, as we close out this evening, what message of assurance or guidance would you like to leave with the people of Clarendon and Clarendonians in the diaspora as we move through this recovery phase together?
I want to say to those in the diaspora, if you can help, give us a reaching hand. We will need your support to rebuild back many of these communities. And for those who are here at home, I just want to give them an assurance that keep hope alive. We're making sure that we will be there for you. We're going to hold your hand, and we're going to all work back, pull back together so that we can rebuild our community. You have already started to do it because you did not wait on government to step in. You start to rebuild your own, build back in your own little space. We are here to continue to work with you, to build with you, and together we're going to make Clarendon stronger than it was before.
Thank you so much, Mayor. And I trust that those who are able to join us live or watching the replay will have a better understanding as to what exactly is happening in Clarendon right now and how you can be a part of the restoration process. So as always, share the link so others can get access to the information and come on board to be a part of that change that we all want to see, because we want to make sure that our brothers and sisters across the parish and across Jamaica, we are able to lend them a helping hand so that they too can get back to a place where they can live a little more comfortable, feel a little more comfortable as they move into the Christmas season and beyond. Thanks again, and I cannot leave without saying thank you to the business community. Thanks to National Self-Serve Wholesale for always stepping up each month to ensure that we have these conversations. We really appreciate your support of this space, that we're able to have this civic engagement platform so we can give people access to information, resources that they need to make certain decisions in going forward. Thanks to you, business peeps in Clarendon who have been going down west and all around to ensure that you lend a helping hand. I must say, hats off to Was Square, because when our police were coordinating to support their team members who experienced damages down in Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, came on board even though they lost their their storeroom down west. They did not say no. They came on board to help to support the process so that our officers could feel a little more comfortable coming up, showing up for work, and their families are taken care of, had a roof over their heads. So we cannot say thank you enough for your support, your generosity, and just continue to be the light in not just in Clarendon, but in Jamaica. Lady Dillon is saying persons have started restoration, therefore persons think persons are not in need. And no, because as the mayor shared, because it's easier for others to lend a helping hand when they see others doing something, so they're better able to get support. And it helps the resources to stretch a little further too, because there are some people who are in a better position to rebuild while others don't have anywhere to start from. And so we ask that you share the information, especially for those who don't have the support system to get things moving. Mayor would have shared in terms of the Ministry of Labor, the RADA connection, so that they can get the information. But if you're in doubt, reach out to the municipal corporation and they will share with you where you ought to go. Our mayor is the co-chair for our interagency network. And through that mechanism, they can share the information with the agency that's responsible for whatever it is that you need to get done. All right. Thank you all again. Mayor, any final word as we close out?
I just want to say to Clarendonian, Jamaican at large, and to yourself, and to thank you for hosting this program, that you're able to reach the persons who would not normally have this space to be enlightened in terms of what is happening around our space in the parish of Clarendon. Thank you for the job that you're doing, and I hope that you will continue to give this kind of service. And by doing so, persons will be more attuned to what it is that is happening around them, and they too can give an helping hand. Thank you very much, and God continue to
Pleasure.
bless us.
All right. Let me thank you all, Casmen, our Prefects Association, and our young people were on over there on Instagram. Always great to have them in this space. All right. Thank you again for those who are able to join us live. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Remember, share the information and have yourselves a fantastic rest of the night. And we look forward to seeing you on another live forum in this space as we continue to connect you with credible information so that you can take actions in your respective spaces. Have a great night.
Thank you.
The SRC Community Development Live Forum is brought to you on fourth Thursdays at 8 p.m. Visit our website at www.serenityresourceconnector.com and subscribe to receive our weekly blog post. Join us again on Thursday at 8 p.m. for Culture Corner with the JCDC. Thank you for watching.